Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rangers Respite. I'm Philip. Today's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another whiskey library review. On Friday, we spun the wheel and we got Mother Earth Spirits Rye Whiskey. And I'm really interested to talk about this. Um, but before I go any farther, just really quick, if you'd like to support this channel in a more material fashion than just liking, commenting, and subscribing, all of which do help the channel a great deal. But if you want to do more, I have a TeePublic shop. I've got a couple of designs up now. I've got more coming. And I have an Etsy shop where I sell ballpoint twist pens and rollerball pens that are made from a French oak ex-cognac cask. Held cognac for 45 years before being used to finish a peated American single malt whiskey in the Pacific Northwest. If you know, you know. There's a link in the description down below. They are really cool. And I've got other stuff in the shop. Without further ado, let's talk about this beautiful rye whiskey. Now, this is batch 7, bottle 70. This is my second time recording this because I dropped my glass the first time, spilled whiskey everywhere, broke my glass. But it's okay. I've got this under control. I won't drop this one. Well, I'm kidding. So this is really interesting. 46% alcohol by volume. It falls into an interesting category because they say on their website that it is a majority malted oak from Epiphany Maltworks, and the balance made up of malted barley and toasted rye. All very interesting. I'm wondering if this could not possibly be construed as a malted rye. I'm not sure. The other thing that's interesting about it is Mother Earth Spirits, as you might guess from the name, is a very ecologically focused company. They use a lot of recycled water, solar energy, and as many green techniques as they can in their distilling process. And that makes it really kind of cool. In like the wave of distillers sort of looking to sustainability and a green future, I think it's very cool for craft to really be kind of leading the charge on this. Without further ado, let's take a look and a sniff. There's a little bit of nuttiness, some nice gentle baking spice. There's just a hint of mentally mint notes. Definitely not 95.5 MGP level minty eucalyptusness, but more of a like sort of mentally, mint as a byproduct of another plant's production sort of vibe. There's a little bit of nuttiness, some nice pastry sweetness like confectioner sugar and like flaky crust. And then right at that core is that nice aniseed fennel vegetal note, or not vegetal, but herbaceous note that really characterizes rye. It is softer, gentler on the nose than most ryes, and I believe that is a side effect, or not side effect, but as is a result of the heavy use of malted and toasted rye. It's really interesting. It's different and very, very fascinating. The nose has like a little bit of like cocoa, coming back to it, a little bit of cocoa that sort of doesn't exactly come out of nowhere, but also doesn't really fit in really cohesively, if that makes sense. Hmm. Excuse me. It's a little bit sharp on the palate, which isn't entirely surprising given that it is only 2 years old, aged in new charred oak barrels. and that the new charred oak really kind of pops on the palate more than the nose. More nuttiness, rich cocoa notes. There's so on the palate, it is very cocoa, like Nutella, hazelnut forward, with that being the dominant flavor profile, and the herbaceousness sort of boxed into a corner. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Balcones 100% rye, and that like that big cocoa note hitting. Although with Balcones, it leans more towards coffee, and in this, it leans more towards like a nuttiness, like a hazelnut and Nutella. As you drink it, you get more of the rich herbaceousness, aniseed, caraway seed, that mentholiness. The finish is really interesting. The finish is 100% Nesquik powder. Like that's the primary notes that I get off of it is Nesquik powder and like a nice light pastry creaminess. Genuinely very, very interesting. This isn't really like any other rye that I've had, and I've had my fair share of ryes. I'm a huge rye fan, and I really like this, don't get me wrong, but this is really different. This is a a much more approachable, friendly rye, I think, for people who may be coming in from either totally not drinking whiskey at all, or maybe potentially for a drinker who primarily drinks Irish whiskey, just because of how, like, light and approachable it is, and that the spice is really tamped down by that, like, toasted element that I think has to be a combination of that malted and toasted rye, and that malted barley. Generally, really interesting. Yeah, it's got much more spicy bitiness up on the front of the palate. It mellows backwards. Really interesting. Now, as always, I ask and answer 3 questions. First one being, do I enjoy it? Yeah, absolutely. This is really interesting, very good, very different rye, and all of that together means that it's really great from my perspective because it is so different and interesting. I don't know why I haven't consumed more of this. I'm going to have to sit down with this some more and dig deeper into it because I'm really enjoying this. I find it really interesting. The second question that I always ask, do I think it's a good value? So, I got this through NCABC while I was spending the holidays on Hatteras a couple of years ago. No, last year. Last year. Um, and it is a little bit pricey. I believe that I paid 55-ish dollars after tax. Unfortunately, I don't have my receipt. Um, I NCABC's website is useless. There isn't a price listed on MotherEarthSpirits.com. Understandably, they can't do sales. It's just the way it is. I think that for what I'm getting out of it, I recall being in the 55 under $60 price range, and I think that puts it well into the worth it category. It may not be true for everybody, but that's the case for me. And the third and final question, do I recommend it? Yes, Absolutely. If you are primarily an Irish whiskey drinker, or you are looking for a rye whiskey that is a little bit lower on the spice level, but not a barely legal Kentucky style rye, or you're looking for something that's, maybe more approachable for somebody who isn't necessarily a regular whiskey drinker, or who is a predominantly Irish whiskey drinker. I think this is a fantastic option for that. Um, Overall, I think that I can wholeheartedly recommend this whiskey. Not to mention the fact that it is quite like it is an ecologically sound whiskey to drink because of how much effort they put into green processes in the manufacture of the spirit. Whew. With all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what we will be reviewing on Friday. Now, I come on. I have been having little internet troubles. Not major ones, but enough to annoy me a little bit, if that makes sense. And let's see if we're continuing. Ooh, oh, this is exciting. That is also all the way across the room, so I'm not going to grab it now. But this is this is cool. So for those of you who don't know, Whiskey Lobach has a whiskey club that you can join. You get perks like early access to private blends, which this is. I know it says private barrel, but it is a barrel blend. It's a blend of 6 barrels. I'll talk about it on Friday. Um, Extremely excited to talk about it. Um, it is only available to people in Arizona. That is really interesting. I won't tell you how I got it, just that I know a guy who knows a guy who is a guy. Um, I'm kidding. My friend Spooky helped me get this. Ian. Um, anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. Recording this a lot later than I wanted to because I had to redo this. Um, so I'm going to go ahead, break this off now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you've ever had anything from Mother Earth Spirits, or other North Carolina distilleries that I should be able to look out for while I am in North Carolina, because I do make it down there every once in a while. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay happy, stay geeks, stay